What's up, air gunners? Let's talk about the FX Panthera, and I'm going to give you 6 reasons why you might want to reconsider a pre-order. And this isn't to bash on actually bash on the air rifle. I think it's a good air rifle. In fact, if I was going to shoot long distance and I wanted FX, this would be probably the rifle to do it with, except there's some limitations that people aren't going to be aware of. And like the number one, or I should say one of the number one concerns of my last video on the FX Panthera is the fact that they say, well, it's a specialty gun. It's only made for, bench rest or against 22 long rifles or the powder burners or this, that, and the other thing. And I'm like, I understand that, but you have videos showing up of people iguana hunting with it and shooting and doing all kinds of things. And this rifle is going to show up in other disciplines or other specialties. They say it's a niche within a niche, but it really isn't. And we can go against this. And so I'm going to jump into the 6 things that are a little bit of concern. So first off, 22 long rifle competitions, like with like bench rest guns at real gun ranges and that. First of all, I have 3 gun ranges near me, and none of them will allow me to shoot competition with my air rifle against 22 rimfires. Not going to happen. I've asked multiple years. People have, oh, come on, no. Multiple years, I've asked these guys, and they do not want to do that. And there's a few stories with that, but my local gun range, the one I've been a member of like 5 years now, they just every year it's denied. Nope, must be 22 rimfire. I've got an indoor range, 25-yard range. They do some 22 competitions. Nope, not going to happen. I got another range locally. So I've called here in the state of Nebraska looking around for competitions that I can compete, just with some of the gear that I have, the FX gear that I have, and they're not going to allow it to happen. So I'd hate to see someone purchase a rifle, and if they have those restrictions in place, you might be a little bit disappointed. I'm just going to push this out there. Just take into consideration that you might not be allowed to compete. And there's a few reasons for that. First of all, classes. Like if you think about boxing, weight classes, you have bantamweight, lightweight, heavyweight, light heavyweight. Why? Why do we have all these classes? I just want to see the best boxer. No, it's money, man. It's money in the separation. Why would I let some FX air gun into a competition that might be sponsored by the NRA, might be sponsored by Savage or Winchester, and have these guys win it and then draw customers away from my customer base? Now, I got a huge hundreds of people that are shooting 22 rimfires with Anschutz and different scopes and Savage and you name it, Ruger. And you're going to let some other brand in to compete and draw away customers? It's not going to happen. You got to understand that part. It's the cash situation. The second part that some people, or I would say that stuck out with me with this rifle, is the fact that it's 300 cc's of air. There's going to be a lot of modifications to this rifle when we're said and done. Guarantee it. 300 cc's is a small amount. I could see them offering a dual tank on the back, like push it off and get 600 cc's, is because the next thing is the shot count and the FPE, foot-pounds of energy. The shot count right now, if you look at the fine literature, the literature piece, it says 90 shots with 22 grain at 900 feet per second. 900 feet per second by, most people say you should shoot hybrids at 980, right around there. It's not even at the standard. You get 90 shots at about 38 foot-pounds of energy, but that's not what this slug gun's for. That's not what you're going to compete in a 22 long-range event with. More than likely, their coup de grace, their pinnacle of this is the 40 grain slugs shooting 1,040 feet per second at 96 foot-pounds of energy, which if you divide up the amount of energy in a 300 cc bottle, you're now roughly like 20 shots, 20 or 30 some shots. You're greatly different than the 90 shots that you think you're going to get. So there's going to be some add-ons. You're not going to get the shot count. But in addition, if you look at the literature, again, some of the ads, it says up to 96 foot-pounds of energy in a 22 cal with a 40 grain slug shooting 10,040, but with the tungsten hammer, which is a heavier hammer, which it appears does not come with the rifle. So you either have to have it installed, which is like a $30 or $50 installation in addition to this. So out of the box, it doesn't seem like it even shoots what it's supposed to at the high end of what they're advertising. And I think once they put that tungsten hammer in, you're probably going to get less shots just because you're just going to waste a little bit more air. You're just going to be a little hotter air gun. Maybe you can dial it back and still get 90 shots shooting FX hybrids. You just don't know. So the fourth thing that we want to look at is everybody's used to bullpups nowadays. I myself am not, but this is a long rifle and it's a 700 millimeter barrel is what you're going to want to go with. If you have a 500, 600 mil, I wouldn't even waste my time. If you're talking a true slug gun, go 700 millimeters because every inch is about 10 to 20 feet per second gain of that. So it saves you that much more air. If you're talking an extra, 4, 8 inches, you're talking hundreds of feet per second, and that's that amount that you're going to save. So if you're used to a bullpup, just think, if you do not like the FX Crown, which is a 700 millimeter barrel on that, and you think it's too long, this is what the gun's going to look like. You're not going to get that bullpup feel, which a lot of people are turned off with. I'm not so much. I like the longer rifles. Just know it's going to have a totally different feel. All right, the last one, I'm going to say it's number 6, is the barrel modifications. The modifications to this rifle are not totally cut and dry like the FX Impact, where you can change this. From their own verbiage, it says you can change the liner, caliber of the liner, but you cannot change the caliber or you cannot change the barrel length. That has to be done by a certified FX dealership or maintenance program. So just know that from what the advertisement shows, this is kind of like a real hybrid slug air gun, which they're bolting it in, they're making it more sturdy. They talked about, picking it up by the barrel and it's firm and it's stiff and all that other stuff. So it's one of those things that right now, I think FX has created kind of an exciting gun, but it's in the middle ground of still trying to keep, people that aren't totally slug shooters happy with a somewhat of a decent shot count at a much lower foot-pounds of energy. And then they're looking at trying to go with a lot of foot-pounds of energy without modifying the heck out of their gun. I think this is probably going to be their best slug shooter so far. It's just the fact that there's compromises, they're in moving forward. If anybody's ever shot a real slug gun, you'll know that a lot of these guys are only getting maybe 10 shots, 12 shots. They're shooting 70, 80, 100 grain slugs, and they're shooting them at foot-pounds of energy, like 150, 200, 270 foot-pounds, and well beyond that to get the yardage and get the distance and get the ballistic coefficients and everything there. FX is kind of slowly getting there, but it's not at an end state. We're going to see a lot more changes to this rifle. We're going to see a lot more changes through FX going this way, because I think once people get into this, they'll realize like they're using a lot more air. They're using a lot more resources to push, maybe not get as much performance as they thought. Like, is the juice worth the squeeze when it comes to accuracy at 200 yards? So that's it, guys. I wanted to give you 6 tips. I think it's going to be a cool rifle, but I don't think it's going to be for everybody. People talked about it being a niche gun, a niche within a niche, and I think people are going to use it for a lot of different things. But my biggest fear is when people buy this, that they go to a 22 rimfire match and they think they're going to compete, or they think they're going to be shown the door. So that's it, guys. Comments, questions below, and I'll see you next week.